across the past 7 months that the Russia, Ukraine, and increasingly more so United States, let's just cut the crap at this point, it's a proxy war, everybody knows it, okay, but I have yet to come across an article that is so biased, so devoid of factuality that I'm just not going to miss the opportunity to talk about this, because this one right here, like, I don't know if Vladimir Putin personally owes Chris Pleasance money or Jack Wright. It's almost like they caught Vladimir Putin fucking their daughters, both of them at the same time, stacked on top of one another. It was beautiful. But this is just so vindictive. It's almost hilarious, because again, I will just not, we won't address any of the things that are like actually factual, because we all know that Putin is like a tyrant. We even wrote it in the fucking headline. Okay, if we can get clear on that, we don't need to address any of the facts. You should just know that Putin is practically dead. Okay, and that the collapse of the Russian military is practically on our fucking doorstep. Okay, he's stealing land. His forces are deserting him, and I don't know. Is this all CGI that's out there in Red Square? Because there's a lot of cope going on right now. Unhinged tyrant Putin. His words, not mine. I've got I don't really have a dog in this fight, okay? Other than the fact that, hey, if we start to encroach any further, okay, but it kind of looks like cooler heads, at least ones that are full of something, will prevail when it comes out on this, and it's just up to Zelensky to stop fucking panhandling across the world and get to the fucking negotiation tables and stop this shit before the fucking fighter planes start to fly over and bomb the fuck out of everything. But yes, according to Chris Pleasance and Jack Wright, unhinged tyrant Putin boasts victory will be ours 7 months into his failing Ukraine invasion. 7 months long, okay? Again, you just take a look at any of the fucking numbers that are out there. Military casualties to civilian casualties. It's a lot more surgical than even what the United States did in the Middle East, okay? There was no fucking, we'll just glass the place offensive to begin with. It's been pretty controlled so far. So again, if it's a failing invasion, all they need to do is just turn up the fucking heat, just start blasting the fucking jets across, and then just fucking glass that place. If it was only just simply a land grab, like they're alleging right here, because it's awfully funny when some people just want to hand wave away elections. Oh, that one was clearly rigged. Oh, okay, cool. We can start questioning the legitimacy of elections. I have some questions. But anyways, yes, it's a failing campaign in Ukraine. It's going to fail any day now. Even though, what's the old axiom? You never want to fight with Russia during the winter, because what happened? Oh, okay. Anyways, as he leads chants of Russia at huge Moscow Red Square rally after annexing 4 territories from Kiev in biggest military land grab in Europe since World War II. Invoke Hitler without saying Hitler. Oh my God. Like, for fuck's sakes, we can see all of the tactics on display here, but don't worry, guys, it gets funnier. An increasingly unhinged Vladimir Putin tonight ludicrously boasted. You can just hear the fucking cope being typed out with this shit. Victory will be our 7 months into his squalid invasion of Ukraine. Well, it seems to be working out pretty fucking well for him, okay, if he's allowed to annex the 4 swatches of land that he said when he initially, announced the invasion, the special military incursions, not a war or anything like that. It's just, fucking semantics at the end of the day. But yeah, those 4 areas, the Donbas region, they wanted to leave Ukraine. Now they're joining Russia. And it looks like everybody's pretty happy about it, except for these 2 cucks at the fucking Daily Mail. They seem pretty bent out of shade about it. But yes, 7 months into squalid invasion of Ukraine. It's like, oh, okay, if it's totally devoid of any value or substance, why do they seem like they're winning? But don't worry, guys, it's gonna fail any day now. Any day now. Just don't look at any of the economic numbers with Russia compared to the rest of the world. Don't take a look at how their economy is actually flourishing, even though they're the bad guys and they're the ones getting sanctioned to hell. But the only guys who are actually being sanctioned right now are the tax-paying folks of the Western world. Anyways, of Ukraine, Russian tyrant illegally annexed 4 territories from Kiev. Oh, illegally annexed. I thought they had a referendum and that they wanted to join. And again, oh no, was that illegal, lawful, supervised election of the people? That doesn't fit your definition of what a vote would constitute? Oh, okay. From Kiev in the biggest military land grab since the Second World War. Yeah, you know who else stole a bunch of land? Hitler. And Vladimir Putin wants to reinstate the Soviet Union. Oh boy. The warmonger told thousands of flag-waving Russians. Are they all by proxy because they were listening to Putin? It's the old argument that Hitler drank water, so anybody who drinks water. So if you're just there, the thousands and thousands of people that turned out to listen to Vladimir Putin, somebody who the people of Russia actually, if you take a look at the fucking numbers that are over there, overwhelmingly appreciate and continue to vote for time after time. Don't be fooled by mass media. Everybody out there continues to say, Putin is a tyrant, Putin is illegally there, nobody likes him. How does he continue to reign? Okay, because Russian people kind of have a history of overthrowing governments and then overthrowing them again once they don't like them anymore. So how's he allowed to stay in position for as long as he can? Oh, it's almost like the people support him. And we're going to see picture proof of that. But whatever, right? It's just clearly it's mind control. He's a tyrant. He's got the Russian harp system set up, and it is just there to make sure that everybody stays off the Western grid. I know. I've seen the documents. But yes, all the Russians were outside the gates of the Kremlin for celebratory concert, and in Moscow's Red Square. Sorry, it technically is in Russia. That people of the Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporozhye regions had chosen to rejoin their historic motherland. Yeah, no, that was the entire impetus of this to begin with. But after his regime staged fake referendums there and rigged the outcomes at gunpoint, sure thing, sweetheart. Flanked by the leaders of their Russian-backed administrations as the multicolored spires of the 16th century St. Basil's Cathedral loomed in the background, Putin vowed that Moscow would do everything to support the newly annexed regions, boost their security, and rebuild their economies. Yeah, they're probably going to need that, okay? Because, again, that was an impoverished part of Kiev. It's right on the, not Kiev, sorry, Ukraine. Right on the fucking border right there, okay? They were at one point a part of Russia proper during the Soviet Union. A lot of historically Russian people are there. They just figured that they should be a part of the place where they're actually descendant of, instead of just some fucking clown regime that is, I don't know what the fuck he's doing right now. Posing for more pictures with more celebrities. Great. It's fucking Ukrainian Jim Norton. He then proclaimed welcome home before prompting chants of Russia, Russia for enormous crowds gathered in the vast square. Huge video screen showed Putin leading the spectators in 3 cheers of hurrah for the annexed territories following a rendition of the national anthem. Oh, it sounds like a hell of a good time. We also see pictures right there. Yeah, there's some people. Denis Pulshin of Vladimir Sadlo in Moscow's Red Square. You know, the guys who were the leaders in some of those regions that are right there. Yeah, it really looks like they're being taken by force. I'm sure that the people, you know, leaving, if not the poorest, one of the poorest. I'm pretty sure Ukraine is, per capita, the poorest country in Europe. So they're leaving that to join a country that's kind of flourishing right now, like a lot. But again, if they start rolling up fucking portable ovens or, you know, just little camping tents to show them a new shower technique, you know what, hey man, I reserve the right to be wrong, but so far, I've been pretty much fucking bang on when it comes to this stuff. God, you just don't see that type of architecture nowadays. Anyways, yeah, but look at all of these people that he forced to have show up there. Yeah, a lot of forced patriotism. I'm sure it's just eerily reminiscent of communism, but then at the same time you can go on Daily Mail and then also find some supportive communism authors writing about how good that would be. So again, try to fucking make that make sense. Vladimir Putin speaks as Leonid Pashenko, leader of the self-proclaimed Luhansk People's Republic. See, self-proclaimed. Well, maybe the people wanted him to be the representative. You ever think about that? No. He's just another one of those Putin puppets. Okay. Denis Pulshin, leader of the Donetsk People's Republic. Moscow appointed head of Kherson region, Vladimir Sadlo. And Moscow appointed Zaporozhye region, Yevgeny Balitsky, to the right, stand near him. Yep. Those are all the leaders of those newly acquired provinces, states, regions, however they end up breaking them down. But as you can see, yep, a lot of people real torn up about this. Really looks like they're being forced to be there, wrapped in the Russian flags, singing along. Okay, listening to that goddamn tyrant making people kiss him on the cheek. Ukrainian separatist and poet Bogdana Nershenko. I'm sure that you can probably find many a spicy tweet over there on that fucking degenerate platform just calling for, oh, some of the worst things in life to ever happen to her. But goddamn, Russia. While you're holding referendums and trying to annex places, can I offer up a suggestion? Like Alberta, like even the northern half. Anyways, yeah, so those are the regions. They don't really like to show what's on the other side of that. That would be Russia, by the way. Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson. That's the 4 regions that don't want to be a part of Ukraine anymore, by the way. Held referendums at gunpoint. Sure they were. But they wanted to leave. Russia wanted to back their separation. And, hey man, now they're joining Russia. So what's left with all this conflict? Well, other than taking down the wildly unpopular Vladimir Putin, because you take a look at, wow, Russians celebrate after a ceremony to sign the treaties on new territories' ascension to Russia. Oh, somebody else must have wrote this part. But as you can see, yep, Putin just not at all popular in Russia at all. Everybody's just out there at gunpoint. See, you can even see people just making sure they don't hop the barricade or nothing bad happens. See, they're armed to the teeth, just ready to gun down all those people, right? Yeah, sure. But don't worry, Ukraine's not going to take this lying down. Well, actually, they're going to have to, because again, they submitted an application to join NATO. So by proxy, make their problem that of the problem of the rest of the world at this point. Like, again, this is not smart, okay? If you want to get to the fucking peace agreement tables, I think bullet point number 1 or number 2 for Putin when it came to this stuff was, okay, Ukraine, maintain your neutrality like you have since the fall of the Soviet Union. And we'll be fucking cool, okay? But of course, I guess the tax break benefits for Zelensky are just way too high, and he can't pass up that opportunity. So he tried to fast track his application to NATO, and then the chairman of NATO is like, well, thanks for your piece of paper, but we'll just go ahead and we'll reconsider this at a different time. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said Ukraine's request for rapid ascension into NATO should occur at a later date. Yeah, not even the White House is fucking cool about this stuff. So when it actually comes to crossing the T's, dotting the I's, making sure that the paperwork is actually formalized, yeah, the White House is like, shit doesn't really much matter. But we'll get what Biden had to say about this, because I don't know, man. He's hell-bent on fucking war in some form or fashion. But we'll get to the nuts and bolts first, because again, you won't hear anything about this, okay? All you're going to hear is what Biden was saying, and then misconstruing the words of Putin, just like the fucking news cycle has been doing for 20 years at this point. Sullivan told reporters on Friday that the request, which Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced hours earlier, should be taken up at a different time because of our views, is the best way for us to support Ukraine is through the additional $12.3 billion that's getting sent over there. Yeah, Senate just passed that bill. U.S. Senate just passed that bill. So remember when they were squabbling over sending out stimulus checks in order to recuperate some of the losses after they told you that you need to stay in your fucking house during 2020? Yeah, they were quibbling over what, $1.3 billion, but now you're approaching $50 billion. That's billion with a B in aid over to Ukraine. Yeah, definitely not a proxy war at all. Nope, couldn't possibly be the thing. He also announced that the administration would be moving forward with another military aid package immediately. Oh, another one. Great. Wonderful. Fantastic. Which comes only days after the Pentagon announced a $1.1 billion package, which brought up the U.S. military aid to Ukraine since Russia invaded to more than $16 billion. And don't worry, guys. Russia's just going to fail any minute now. Did you see they conscripted and they told everybody that they need to be mobilized? Or whatever fucking flowery language that they said. Basically, you know what that was? Yeah, if we decide to escalate this any further, just be ready, okay? It's not like everybody's getting fucking fitted for their fucking fatigues, okay? It's just a precautionary measure. If no peace ends up getting made, okay, or if no talks end up getting initiated, then it's time to fucking increase the heat a little bit. But that's just realistically an optics play to get fucking Ukraine to the board, because again, if Russia decides to press the full weight to their military, Ukraine would be done and dusted. Not even a fucking close fight. And especially with NATO being like, you're on your own for right now. We'll talk to you once you figure this shit out. Zelensky early on Friday revealed the country was applying for rapid ascension into the partnership, while Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg left the possibility open shortly after. No, he slammed that fucking door shut, but I understand. The Ukrainian leader's announcement came shortly after Russian President Vladimir Putin announced the annexation of 4 regions in Ukraine. Don't want to talk about the vote that happened. No, it was corrupt and it was contested while no other ballot watchers were allowed to participate. Oh, really? Well, I got some questions about some other things if you want to question that legitimacy, but you want to tell me something else was the most secure election of all time. Okay. We are de facto allies, he said in a statement. Yeah, we're de facto. Kind of like, yeah, we will de facto choose whenever we want to defend your territory. This has already been achieved. De facto, we have already completed our path to NATO. De facto, it doesn't matter if you continue to say it. It doesn't mean anything else. We have already proven interoperability with the alliance's standards. They are real for Ukraine, real for the battlefield in all aspects of our interaction. So guess what? If you're anything about, oh, Ukraine is going to be joining NATO, ain't going to be fucking happening until this conflict is over. Hasn't changed. They've been trying to do that forever. They tried this earlier in the conflict with joining the EU, but they're like, thanks, but no thanks. And now they're trying it again with the NATO, and now they're just all, see our previous response, so just fuck off at this point. But don't worry, old Uncle Joe, I'm just surprised it's not a 3-day weekend again, okay? He's just out here to saber rattle again, and I don't know. I didn't listen to this speech because, again, listening to Joe Biden makes me want to put one of those fucking military-issued rifles in my mouth, unless there's a good fucking gaff on top of it. I don't want to hear from it because he's deteriorating in front of our eyes, and dementia makes me really sad to see because I think losing a sense of yourself is probably the worst way to go in this world. So I don't want to see a fucking 80-year-old man get up there and just muddle fuck and try to eat the microphone. I can do without, okay? Trying to go into the weekend on a fucking good foot, all right? Now, Mr. Putin, don't mishmash. I like mashed potatoes. Misunderstand. That's what I'm going for. Oh, what I'm saying. Biden warns U.S. Is prepared to defend every inch of NATO territory. Dude, what fucking year is this? You've already said that before. And again, Ukraine, not a part of NATO, isn't going to be a part of NATO in any fucking point in the near future. After phony annexation, that's awfully funny. Joe Biden's talking about a phony election. Awfully fucking funny. Of 4 Ukrainian regions, and Russia claims America set nuclear precedent with A-bombs. Oh, fuck. Joe Biden issued a stark warning. I am sure it's really got Putin fucking shaking. Friday that the United States is prepared to defend every inch of NATO territory after the Russian leader annexed 4 regions of Ukraine. At their request, by the way, but don't talk about that. Another reason that I wanted to use a different Daily Mail article, because you might notice that as well, is just you can tell the different tone and tenor here. Like, Caitlin probably finds Putin just a little bit attractive. She's seen that shirtless horse picture, so she knows what's up. Mr. Putin, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. That's a very precarious request that you're making there, Joe, when you're talking to anybody. Biden said as he slammed Russia's sham referendum. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, my guy. Referendum and the disinformation and lies. Oh, okay, cool. I don't think that's going to work. You cut off all social media access in Russia, okay? Disinformation, misinformation, lies, and the big lie that Putin's purporting. We've already seen this playbook. It doesn't fucking work. On Friday, that the West was behind the Nord Stream pipeline explosion. Yeah, it's a... Again, seen a lot of those clown face memes that are out there of a guy who's just putting on the wig and all the makeup and all that stuff. Yeah, Russia spends millions of dollars with the pipeline, engages in a bunch of treaties, and then, a couple years later, just decides to blow up their own pipeline. Yeah, it doesn't really make a whole hell of a lot of sense. It sounds like some clown world speech right there. Considering the explosion happened in territory that was controlled by NATO. I don't know if any natives were down there, but maybe that's what the CIA, or I'm sorry, the armed guards in NATO's regions, okay? Maybe that's who they were when they were down in that area. Just awfully funny where that explosion occurred. Putin and top officials in his regime have escalated their nuclear threats. Amen. In recent gains, even as Ukraine has taken back more territory that Russian forces seized since its invasion in February. Can you cite the source or anything like that? Because again, Russia just annexed 4 large regions, and you're saying, oh, Ukraine's taken back land. Okay, you're just going to have to back that up somewhere along the way. Putin's actions are a sign he's struggling. Says Uncle Joe. You better fuck off if you're saying that. the sham referendum he carried out and his team he put on. And if anybody knows about a sham, it's me. The without an E sham routine that he's put on this morning, showing the unity and you want to question a president that markets himself on unity, saying that he committed a sham election? Oh, ooh. And people holding hands together. It sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Nobody ever turns out to listen to you talk, so I guess you just got to mock the only other person who actually can draw, because, I don't know, maybe Trump has a rally scheduled for this weekend. He's just, lying low right now. The United States is never going to recognize this, and quite frankly, the world's not going to recognize it either. Yes, because Uncle Joe speaks for the world after he gets shuffled off the stage in a couple of months' time, because let's cut the shit, okay? But again, I'm not exactly all that enthusiastic about this old fucker getting shoveled off for the second in command right there, because there's this ditzy bitch who's out here. It's so close! Kamala Harris uses binoculars to view North Korea from the DMZ. Oh yeah, she's over there, just talking about the great alliance that the United States and North Korea has. I didn't misspeak. That dumb bitch actually fucking said that. She's the vice president, guys. Okay, and it gets even funnier, I guess, because we got a little bit of a video clip here to play, because man, just when you think Joe does something so categorically fucking dumb, here comes Kamala. But that's normally said, here, come on, Kamala. But she's already worked her way up, and she'll be the president here in a couple of months' time, so don't worry about it. Talk about the view of North Korea from the DMZ, from the demilitarized zone. She's talking about viewing North Korea from the DMZ. Just keep that in mind, with binoculars, by the way. Then talks U.S. soldiers about James Webb Telescope. Vice President Kamala Harris used binoculars to view North Korea from the demilitarized zone. Hours after claimed the U.S. has a strong alliance with North Korea. She said this. She actually fucking said this. But I don't know if Gay Black Lady came out and gave a speech about, oh no, she just misspoke on that one. She meant with South Korea. Just shut up and no questions. Okay, bye. Video of Harris visiting to South Korea on Thursday shows the vice president accompanied by U.S. soldiers marveling as she looked into North Korea. You know what's funny? You have to look with binoculars, but the previous administration, they actually had the red carpet rolled out for them. How far the United States has fallen in the worldview. But again, Joe Biden's going to speak for the rest of the world. Meanwhile, they just laugh at him silently as he tries to make small talk with a potted plant. There's something to see about it with your own eyes, Harris comments, and it's so close. The service member then corrects her, saying it's 50 meters away, ma'am. You need binoculars for that. Yeah, no. Here's some of the clip. Yeah, he's a guy who's up there on the guard post. Hey, take a look at everything that's out there. Take a look across. Pose for the photos. Hold the binoculars. It's just right there, folks. Aren't you so glad that the adults are back in the room? Right now, on the brink of World War III. I remember back in 2015, 2016, when they said that Trump would lead to, just such great military conflict with Korea, with Russia, with, I don't know, Iran, Sudan, pick a place in the world. Obviously, Trump was going to just start some sort of fucking military conflict. Which administration are we on right now that hasn't fucked up the military? Oh, okay, cool. But that, to be fair though, we're only halfway through this administration. What could possibly go wrong? So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.